Alright, so we're only going to be doing one question today, 25.2. This is your turn question. If you click on this thing right here, why isn't it clicking? There you go. The very first your turn question. There's only one question here. And it says we have to show that DEFG is a rectangle. Obviously, we can tell that it's a rectangle, but we have to go through some mathematical process to prove that it is a rectangle. So then, what is it exactly that you have to know, right? So the first thing that you have to remember is that in a rectangle, it has 1, 2, 3, 4 90-degree angles. Now, we're learning about perpendicular lines, and we know that when we have perpendicular lines, they create right angles, right? So we're just basically going to use that, all right? We're going to find the slope of this line, that line, that line, that line, and make sure that, they are perpendicular to each other, okay? So anyway, to prove that this is a rectangle, we gotta prove that all four angles are right angles. And to prove that they are all right angles, we just have to prove that this line and this line are perpendicular to each other. Same thing here and here, here and there, here and there. Okay, so let's go ahead and find the slope. All right, so it's not that difficult. You can actually like count, right? So the slope of DG, okay, and that segment DG is going to be what? You have to go up. Slope is always rise over run. 1, 2, 3. You went up by 3 and to the right by 1, 2, right? What about slope of DE? Let's use a different color, right? So that's DE right there. Slope of DE. Same thing, but from here, you always start from the left, but to get to E, you gotta go down. But how many do you have to go down, right? So let's look at the red line. I have to start from here and I have to go 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So that will be -4. And then how many do I have to go to the right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we all know that we gotta simplify the top and the bottom by dividing by 2. So we have -2/3, and that's the slope for DE. We are obviously not done because we have to continue on. This time we're going to find the slope for EF. Let's do this. Again, we're starting from the left, which is F. To get to E, I have to go up. 1, 2, 3. So that's +3 over, and I have to go to the right by 2. Okay, very good. Now, the very last line, segment, which is the slope of GF, right? So there you go. Again, we have to start from the top, and then we have to go down to get to F. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because we went down, it's -4 over. Now, how many to the right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, we gotta simplify, divide the top and the bottom by 2. You get -2/3. All right, so now you see a pattern, right? You can see that this slope and this slope is the same, and you can see that this slope and that slope is the same. Another thing that you notice is what? These two are opposite reciprocal. What does that mean? The positive changed to a negative, and then you see the 3/2. Now the 3 is at the bottom and 2 is on top. That's the reciprocal when we flip it, right? Same thing when we look at DE and EF, change symbol, and then we flip it. When we look at EF and GF, same thing. Positive becomes negative, the 2 goes on top and 3 at the bottom. So we know that all four lines are perpendicular to each other, which proves that the four angles here are all 90-degree angles, okay? And that's why we can prove that this is a rectangle, because we just found the slope for every single segment and they were all perpendicular to each other. So now let's just go ahead and write our answer down here. First, you have to find the coordinate. In the textbook, they make you do it this way, right? So coordinates for D is 0, 5, and E is 6, 1, and F is at 4 comma negative 2, and G is at negative 2 comma 2. Then we click on next, and then you have to find the formula, the slope over here, and we already got that. That was negative 2 over 3, and this one was 3 over 2, negative 2 over 3, and 3 over 2. Remember? We already calculated all that stuff. And now we have to compare the slope. When you multiply them, we got negative 1 for every single one, which is why we knew that they were perpendicular to each other. Remember this? Because they're opposite, okay, opposite symbol, and then they're reciprocals of each other. When you multiply them, you'll get negative 1. And did I forget to answer something? No, I don't think so. So we got everything done. Okay, so complete the explanation. Consecutive sides are perpendicular because when you multiply the slope, you get negative 1. Quadrilateral DEFG is a rectangle because it is a quadrilateral with 4 right angles, right? And so there you go. I don't know why this one says it's wrong because it's supposed to be all correct, but oh well. So that's it. Just to prove to you that I am right and the textbook is wrong, I'm gonna go to the example so you can see over here everything should be negative 1, and that's what I wrote, right? So that's how you're supposed to do it. And what I want you to do is I want you to try and solve a practice question in the evaluate section. There you go. I want you to work on question number 2. It's the same thing, right? And then question number 3, I would like you to try that. This is a trapezoid with 2 right angles, so you gotta prove that this and that line are parallel to each other. That was chapter 25.1. And then you gotta prove that this angle and that angle make 90 degrees, okay? And so when you can prove that, you'll be able to solve it, right? So question number 4, we're gonna do it not today, but tomorrow, right? And so also if you want to work on, now I think that's enough. I'm trying to look and see if there's more questions I can make you do, but that's good enough, okay? So again, don't forget it was question number 2 and 3 that I wanted you to work on in the evaluate section, okay? Please do that in like a sheet of paper so you have good notes on it. Well, thank you so much. Happy learning. Goodbye.